In the world of cinema, the director is a singular vision orchestrating a symphony of light, sound, and performance to craft a story that resonates deep within the human experience. Today, we're going to look closely at how these great stories are made, the hard work, the big ideas, and the passion that goes into it. Let's have a look at the AV, please.
तुम्हारा ऐसा कौन सा प्रॉब्लम है जो मेरा नहीं है?
जिंदगी की यही रीत है। रस पीने की प्यास है, बंदा ये बिंदास है, बंदा ये बिंदास है, बंदा ये बिंदास है।
Let them come with the armies of hell. They will not come.
I'm very lucky to have them as neighbours. Actually, they've become like family to me since your father left for that teenage whore. She's 35.
ये वादियाँ दूधिया कोहरे की, इनमें सदियाँ बहती हैं। ये वादियाँ दूधिया कोहरे की, इनमें सदियाँ बहती हैं।
रहने नहीं मिलता इंडिया का कोर्ट, कमाना पड़ता है।
ये अजीज अली जो अपने आप से दुनिया से भाग रहा है, या ये अजीज अली तूफान जो फिर से उठेगा।
कौन करेगा खत्म? हाँ कौन? अरे खत्म कौन करेगा? मैं।
It is my great honor to call upon our first guest, a director whose films are known for their big, beautiful look and deep feelings. His work is loved worldwide and has changed Indian cinema. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Shekhar Kapur. Thank you, sir. And joining him is another director. He mixes important history with modern feel, giving us some truly unforgettable films. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to have with us the brilliant Mr. Rakesh Omprakash Mehra. May I now request the Managing Director of National Film Development Corporation, Shri Prakash Magdum sir, to join us on stage to felicitate our distinguished guest. Thank you for joining us, sir. And now over to you with the gracious request to commence the session.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and thanks for making it.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, okay. So I have to confess, I'm very nervous right now because of this gentleman next to me. It's one of the most humbling evenings of my life to share the platform with Shekhar. And a lot that I've learned is through interaction with him and through his work, of course, like all of us. I happen to be in the international jury for this year. And one of my colleagues, co-jury member was Remy, who has shot 3 movies with Shekhar, including Elizabeth. And I popped up the question, so Remy, how's it with Shekhar? And he just replied in one word, the whole experience, and that was spiritual. So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess you heard the last of me today, and we all want to hear Shekhar.
You have to ask me a question, otherwise I just trail off.
That's the thing I love about you, that you stray off.
This is awkward. No, I was like, I could talk about Remy. You know, a lot of you must have been here when Amir was just here. And as he walked out, he said, Shekhar, why don't we get together and he said, why don't we tell stories together? And I said, fine. And I was thinking, and that's a question to you, I've never told a story, ever, in my life. I've always allowed stories to evolve. Stories, like, so if I have a story, it has developed over 10 years, 20 years, maybe even 30 years. It just doesn't happen then. It just evolves, and then suddenly I'll wake up one morning and I'll say, yeah, ye badi achhi kahani hai. I like the plot, I like it. And then everything that the story gets filled up with is all your life's experiences. Every thought that you had, with one or two new thoughts. But the idea of spiritual, I mean, imagine you have a DOP and he says, so how do you want me to light this shot? And the director says, spiritually. Poor chap, right? Here's how, and I'll give it over to you. Here's how storytelling developed for me. And if you guys have heard this before, but it's a story that I remember about myself a lot, is how many of you can actually imagine, I'm not talking about the volcanic ash that is going over Delhi right now, but how many of you can imagine Delhi with no pollution? Not many, but it was once not polluted. And as a kid, about 11 years old, we used to, in summers, we used to sleep on the terrace in Delhi, and you could actually see the Milky Way. And I would see the Milky Way every night. I'd look up at the stars. And, you know, 11, around that time, you're being taught physics, and you're being taught that for something to be something, it has to be measurable. Because if you cannot measure it, there is nothing called nothing. Something has to be something. And you're grappling at that time with this idea, because before that, all you're doing is playing. So nothing doesn't mean nothing to you. And then I remember looking up in the sky and asking my mother, I said, how far does this go? Milky Way, space, how far does it go? And my mother just said, Beta, it goes on forever. And I remember being totally traumatized by the word forever. Because how do I measure forever? You know? So it has to be something, right? I can't measure it. If I can't measure it, then it's nothing. And so I would be awake every night trying to imagine, and I remember tears coming down my eyes because I could not imagine this forever. And that's when I had to tell stories. I had to tell a story of, and I remember my first story was an axeman about to cut down a tree, and at the tip of his axe was a whole universe in which I existed. And after centuries and centuries, when it hits the tree, my universe will explode. But I'm sitting in that universe in a terrace, looking up at the sky. So I would go on and on and on in telling that story. So the story, my stories telling evolved from the search for the infinite. Absolutely. What is infinite? And within this finite sense, how do I explain the infinite except for the story?
Yeah, the words will always fail. And I know, that's something I share in common. I spent sleeping on the terrace, not because there was a Milky Way. The family of 5 lived in one room, and the extension was the kitchen. So you had to go to the terrace to sleep. But yeah, the stars were like staring down at you, and there was always the Budiya Ma sitting in the moon, telling stories. My introduction to storytelling was my nani. and in Old Delhi. That's how I got to make Delhi 6, and most of my films are around Delhi. I mean, Delhi Boy, Rang De Basanti, Baag Milka Baag. So I remember all of us cousins, 6, 7 in a line, lying down, and Nani telling the story. And her favorite story was Ramayana. And she would talk about Ravan, Sita, Surpanakha. And in the end, she would spoil it all. She said, Ram bhi tumhare andar hai, Ravan bhi tumhare andar hai. Sita bhi tum ho, Surpanakha bhi tum ho. Lakshman bhi tum ho, Bharat bhi tum ho. Or Urmila who suffered the Vanvas the most. You know, at least Ram and Sita went together for 14 years. Urmila, for no rhyme or reason, just got married and she was sitting at home, and Lakshman left her for 14 years following his brother. She has a very sad story to tell. She would say, everything acha bura tumhare andar hai. And that gave birth to my first film called Lux, which is good and evil are two sides of the same coin. Acha admi, bura admi, ek sikke ke do pehlu, which was beautifully played by Mr. Bachchan and Manoj Bajpayee. And I was very lucky that I got to work with such talent on my debut film. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you talked about debut film. My debut film was Masoom. So how many of you have seen it? Oh my God, a lot of you. Okay.
There's a sequel in the making.
Yeah, we'll talk about the sequel later. But, when people ask, you know, one thing about filmmaking is who was I when I was making Masoom? I don't remember that person. I only remember the film, and whenever I look at the film, I said, how did I decide to do that shot? You know, I didn't learn filmmaking, I did not assist anybody, I'd never read a book on filmmaking, and one day I just had the opportunity to make the film. So I just went and shot a film. So I keep asking myself, who was that person that made Masoom? And then when I'm forced to see the film again, it's embarrassing because I don't recognize that person. I'm not that person. I'm now somebody different. I'm still the guy in search of forever. But so when I am making a sequel to Masoom now, and everybody says, Masoom jaisi hogi, bilkul, dekho. But Masoom jaisi kya hai? What does that mean? What? How? So when I sat down and I realized, and I want to ask you this, what I realized was what worked most in Masoom for my lack of knowledge. What worked most in Masoom is my own naivety. I knew nothing about filmmaking, so I just had to tell the story in whichever naive way I could do. And I realized I was not burdened by, I hadn't seen that many films either. I wasn't burdened by knowledge or technique, nothing. I only worked with a sense of honesty and being naive. So I was doing that. And now, so people say, Masoom jaisi hogi, I ask myself, I don't know if you face that, but this is a very honest statement. My biggest fear of Masoom today, the second Masoom, is, can I be naive again? How do I be that honest again? How do I unburden myself from all the Oscars and every bit of success? How do I unburden myself with knowledge and fame and let it go and go back to a sense of naivety? And it bothers me. It keeps me awake at night. And I'm not sure that happens to you as a director.
It's impossible to answer that. So I can try and respond to that with my own personal experience. So my second film, after making Ux, I similarly have not gone to a film school, never read a film book, only seen movies in the theaters and Doordarshan at that point of time. Never seen a camera. First time I hired a camera was on my set, as such, when I touched it, and never assisted anyone. After Ux, I realized, hey, I'm really enjoying this. directing actors is coming naturally. Technique is coming. There are some great masters. I'm working with DOPs and sound people and production designers. They know their job. All I have to say, am I feeling right or not? And let them do what they are doing. But I realized what lacked in Ux was a screenplay. I learned the term screenplay after making Ux. कि एक screenplay भी होता भाई film बनाने के लिए. And the next 5 years, I spent trying to understand the art and science and the craft of writing a screenplay. Until date, I do all my screenplays as such. And through that process, Rang De Basanti was born. It was a lot of personal experiences. I'm from a Air Force school, Bal Bharti Air Force, Lodi Road. We had a MiG-21 plane on the foyer, uska dhanja without the engine. We used to play around it, get punished under it. So it was in my subconscious. And when the MiGs were crashing, you wanted to shoot there was an interview by the defense minister who said कि आज के pilot होश में नहीं जोश में plane उड़ाते. That made you very angry and you wanted to shoot the guy. So I couldn't shoot him, so I shot him in the film. And as such. And like all the boys there, Amir and gang, they were replicas of my gang. I tried to borrow from real friends of mine and give those. We would all complain. पानी नहीं आता, बिजली नहीं आती, ये नहीं होता, वो नहीं होता, सड़कें खराब हैं, गड्ढे हैं, ये सब वो सब, बस नहीं आती है तो चले जाती है, ट्रेन टाइम से नहीं आती है, 18 घंटे लेट, ये सब हम सब बहुत गाली देते थे फेंस पे बैठ के, खुद कुछ नहीं करते थे. And that is what Rang De Basanti was about. There was one who wanted to go to America because India doesn't work. So the ending line of the film was, which actually Bharti gave me. Bharti, you are in the audience somewhere? Hey.
She's right at the back.
Yeah, not to embarrass you. Yeah. He gave me a quote saying, there are two choices, primary choices in your life. To accept the things the way they are or take the responsibility of changing them, which I translated and transcribed in Hindi, and that is the line we gave to Amir towards the end, कि जिंदगी जीने के दो ही तरीके होते हैं.
Sorry, what was that?
जिंदगी जीने के दो ही तरीके होते हैं. या जो हो रहा है उसे होने दो, या फिर जिम्मेवारी उठाओ उसे बदलने की. So there are, that is what that movie was about. And exactly like you, because one was not intelligent and did not have a borrowed knowledge, or I think you're forgetting something. You told me something beautiful once when we went to Bhopal and we took a car trip to one of the Buddhist temples, and suddenly you were gone and I turned around looking for you and you were sitting on a rock meditating. And then I think we spoke about Buddha, and where you shared, Buddha had his own revelation. We need to have our own. We cannot borrow Buddha's teaching, and we need to figure it out for ourselves. So things like that, and has helped me a lot as a student of cinema, being around masters and learning from them and understanding, not to replicate or duplicate them, but understanding how to have your own voice. So somewhere cinema needs to have you become a part, and definitely I'm not the same Rakesh Mehra who made Rang De Basanti. With every film, the director is reborn, dies and is reborn again, and is a different person making the film every time. I think we should change a name every time with every film.
You change your glasses.
All the time. Because the numbers are just increasing.
I remember that sitting on that rock And recently somebody asked me if I would make a feature film on Buddha's life. And it was a very strange thing which I faced. That what did Buddha actually do when he got enlightenment? For him, time ceased, right? There was no past, no present, no future. There was just that now. So I was faced with this thing. If there's no past, no present, no future, there's no narrative. So the very idea of telling Buddha's story is a lie. Because if he actually experienced the idea of what we say now, absolute now, which is no past, no present, no future, just the now.
This is the inevitable moment. Yeah.
So then there's no narrative, there's no story. So I remember sitting on the rock and realizing that in order to create time, we need to tell a story. In order to create time, we need a narrative. Because if there's no narrative, then how do you tell this time? Time doesn't exist. मैंने ये बोतल यहाँ से उठाई यहाँ रखी. कहानी है, लेकिन I need that time, no? But in zero time, all it would mean is the बोतल यहाँ भी है, at the same moment, at the same time, which is what modern quantum physics is talking about. So it's are we time creators, storytellers? Or, so I was just thinking about that this morning also.
Yeah, there could be another way of looking at it. It's so interesting. Actually, we are freezing time.
Yeah.
For that moment in the theater, you bring the audiences into that moment, and that moment becomes an inevitable moment of their lives. And I wish I could offer some incentive at the box office to keep your mobiles out, because these days I see people looking at the mobile also and looking at the movie also. But yeah, you got to deal with that heartbreak.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Why don't I just ask the audience, if the audience promises not to tell us their life story, because you won't get this chance of Rakesh and me sitting here again, probably never again. But if you just promise just to ask a simple question, complex questions I can't answer. There is no answer to complexities or complex questions. It's only more complexities. So if your questions are simpler, there's only simplicity that will actually explain it. So I can throw it up. And one of the things that I want you to talk about is that people ask me, Shekhar, do you have an ego? I say, yeah. You're so egoistic? I say, yeah. But I constantly try and differentiate between the creative ego and the personal ego. Because to be creative, you need, the two things that you need very importantly is vulnerability and humility. So if you're completely vulnerable, complete vulnerability and completely humble, you're completely creative. You have the chance to be completely creative. But when I go to a producer, I have to be, "Oi, film banao, chalo, idhar karo." So there is that personal ego kicks in order to achieve anything. But then you have to let your personal ego go. So you're almost schizophrenic in the way you behave as a creative person. You're letting go of your personal ego and then but evolving into a creative ego, which and is sometimes very difficult to tell the difference. If you're really angry about something that's going on the set, I keep questioning myself, Shekhar, is this your personal ego or is it your creative ego? Because creative ego is really important for you to decide how to do a shot, how to talk to the actors. Personal ego to kuch aur hi chal raha hai phir, then you're actually destroying your own film. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a good song. Yeah.
It's all right.
No, it's a good song. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't understand the word ego only. And I'm not able to differentiate it. And I totally understand when you are saying you have to be vulnerable. It's a very feminine energy to be a director. Writer or director.
All creativity is
There's nothing
very feminine,
nothing male about it. You create a baby, you go through the pregnancy, you go through the labor pain, and then you deliver the baby, and then you want to protect the baby and want to see it grow.
Like your mother.
Like a mother, absolutely. You are the mother of the
So
world.
what does the father do? Just get in the way?
The father is, at best, I don't want to describe it on this platform, but they're just some instruments. Yeah.
Father is an instrument. I wonder what that means here, but it's okay. You know, I really like to know what you guys want to know. We are two directors with a cumulative experience. But I'm very scared of getting people ask questions because we get life stories from other people. We are here to tell our life story to you. So can I have the lights on to see who's in the audience? Yeah. Yeah. I'd like a woman to answer. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm a big fan of both of yours. And specifically about you, I love Bhag Milka Bhag. I love Tufan. I want to know, sports has been a big part of my life growing up. What fascinates you to make sports biopics, one? And I am into acting, I'm Yashna. I have a list of characters that I want to play, out of which one has to be a sports biopic. And if you guys know of Nikhat Zareen, she's a boxer from my city, from Hyderabad, then one of them is that. And if you're okay with it, I'd love to discuss that with you after the session for about 4 to 5 minutes.
You know, the right person to catch is Bharti. She's back there. She does all the casting. She decides the content, and she decides what movie I should make or not. Yeah, so you'll find her.
All right, thank you. Let's
not to offend anyone, the most beautiful lady in the house you look for, you'll find her.
Yeah.
Who is Bharti? Can I know?
It's all right. So what? We'll come to you, sir. If you
So,
have
for your information, Bhag Milka Bhag was not a biopic. When press gives terms to films and they want these caricature. I was telling a story of partition. While millions were celebrating the independence of India, millions suffered partition. And mostly the ones who suffered the most were women and children. So that was young Milkha's story.
Sir.
Yeah, do you have a quick question, please?
मैं जम्मू कश्मीर का रहने वाला हूँ
जी
पंडित शेख कुमार जी से संतोष सीखा हुआ हूँ आप दोनों दिल्ली के हैं तो पंजाबी नेचुरली होंगे आप और एक आपसे मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है पर्सनल आप चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हैं चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट की हुई है आपने वो गिनती वाला पहाड़ा छोड़कर क्रिएटिविटी की तरफ कैसे आए
मैं वो आंसर करता हूँ आप अभी आंसर कर दे तो मैं बैठ जाइए
एक और छोटा सा क्वेश्चन है कि जैसे आपने कहा टाइम और स्पिरिचुअलिटी वी आर स्पिरिचुअल टाइम नेवर डाइज वी डाई वी डाई वी पास ऑन हम निकल जाते हैं समय वहीं खड़ा रहता है
समय ठीक है
और स्पिरिचुअलिटी क्या है हमें भगवान ने यहाँ भेजा हुआ है दूसरों की मदद करने की
थैंक यू बट टाइम वाज नेवर born because if it was born anything that is born it dies so time was never born so it doesn't exist except in our imagination that's one thing why did I leave chartered accountancy not for films it was years before I made a film when I left accounting because I wanted to do something in which I would find who I am. I went out to see who is this individual called Shekhar Kapur, or is he an individual at all? Am I carrying the burden of individuality too high? And it was difficult. I was a middle-class boy who was sent there, who got a good job. So I left to discover who I am. And I then realized that everything that you do, whether you make a film, whether you write a poem, or you fight, or you get married, or you get divorced, the discovery of the self never dies. So I'm still, in a way, that boy sitting on the terrace, lying on the terrace, wondering how long, far forever is, what forever is, and discovering who I am. I think you actually don't discover who you are till you are about to die, and then you say, "Acha, that's who I am," or maybe not even then. But, thank you.
Yeah, hello. Hello, both of you.
You guys very aggressive, huh? You just stand up like, okay, okay, go on.
Hi, my name is Krish. Okay. And my question is, we do see that thought-provoking films earlier. Rakesh, you made... Hello, can you hear me?
Now.
Yeah. So we see thought-provoking movies like Rang De Basanti, Arcs, and those kind of films, like Bhag Milka Bhag. Nowadays, we didn't find those kind of films. What is missing, or we are not focused about this system's failure or not? That question I was asking about it. And that is, Rang De Basanti motivates me, the dialogue which say that, जिम्मेदारी लो और जीना सीखो और खुद को बदलो और दुनिया बदल जाती है.
Yeah.
So that question it was. So why we are not seeing that kind of films nowadays?
I think that's a really important question, but why are we not seeing films like, why are we not seeing films that actually hold a greater meaning today?
On 100 years of Indian cinema, Shekhar commissioned me to make a documentary. And we called it Bollywood, the greatest love story ever told. It was a pun. I hate the word Bollywood. We were not identifying, so we named a film that. There we took approximately 200 films and made a 80-minute film out of it, Hindi films. And it was through song, dance, dialogues, stuff like that, and some vox pops thrown in between of Mr. Bachchan, Shammi Kapoor, Devanand, Aishwarya and all that, Javed sir, Gulzar bhai. And I took some documentary footage from the historical events of India, which was independence, Gandhi's assassination, Bengal famine, China war, 1971 war, so on and so forth. And we juxtapose it with the cinema of the times. What emerged was that cinema is reflecting life, the socio-political, economic changes of those times. To make it easy for you, when our country was born, we had Ye Desh hai veer jawano ka, albelo ka, mastano ka, is desh ka yaro, naya daur, the name described it. But when Bengal famine happened and we lost the war to China, we had Jinhe naaz hai Hind par wo kahan hai. There was disillusionment. And then there were no jobs, this thing, and with Shammi Kapoor you can divide Indian cinema. Before Shammi Kapoor, hero never danced. After him, he danced, is still dancing. The escapism in cinema was born. So I guess what you see is what you are giving out to the society. And that gets reflected. Having said that, one of a major influences in filmmaking today is this idiot box and these platforms called Netflix and Amazon, mostly in India. And now Jio has entered the fray. And that has destroyed the idea of destroying the idea of filmmaking, but we are not giving up. Yeah. Sorry, I got a bit aggressive.
No, it's fine. I was just laughing. Is there anybody that works for Netflix here? So, all right. Okay.
Hello, sir. My name is Vritti. I remember Shekhar sir from the Parliamentary series, which I would sit in front of the TV and watch as a kid. So the series narrates the country's wounds with a very gentle tone. Do you think that soft tone, that gentleness is still there in storytelling, or has it been overtaken by sensationalism?
I've always done something a bit gently, except for Mogambo Kushua, which was not that gentle. But no, I think it's still there. I find that it was gently told, it was gently narrated, it was gently scripted. I think it was a combination of all three. And just yesterday, I was standing outside one of the hotels, and three young people came to me and asked for a picture, and I said, okay, so maybe they've seen my film or something. No, they were Pradhan Mantri. They had gone to Missouri, to the IAS Academy, and there they said we were constantly being shown Pradhan Mantri as a series of the real story of India's independence. But no, it was gentle, but it was gently written also. Yeah.
He is a gentle soul, so that's how he'll tell his stories.
सर आपने हॉलीवुड में काम किया है, बॉलीवुड में काम किया है, फिल्म बनाई है और विदेश में अभी आपने अच्छी फिल्म कौन सी है?
अच्छी फिल्म क्या होती है कि अच्छी फिल्म कौन सी जो मैंने बनाई? I think that the most, somebody asked me to see Bandit Queen again, and I came out of the film after years because they asked me to do another director's commentary. And I came out with tears in my eyes, and they said, "Oh my God, you were so moved by your own film." I said, "Maybe, but no." The fact was that I don't know whether I can make a film with that intensity ever again. So I was sobbing at my own inability to go back and make a film like that because I know what I went through. I know what the actors went through in making that film. We were pushed ourselves, our limits of endurance, of mental endurance. And so to me, that's my best film, Bandit Queen. Not Elizabeth, not Mr. India, not Masoom, because of the experience. So the only way I can answer you is, for me or for any creative person, it's the experience of creativity becomes the best film or the best work or the best piece of art, not how people respond to it. वो तो बाद में होता है. But the moment that process for you, for me, makes the greatest experience.
शेखर सर, you are such a brilliant director. आपने मासूम बनाई है, मिस्टर इंडिया बनाई है, बैंडिट क्वीन इज़ द ब्रिलियंट फिल्म. बट कंपेरेटिवली अदर्स डायरेक्टर को मतलब कंपेयर किया जाए तो आपने बहुत कम फिल्में बनाई है. डोंट यू थिंक इट इज़ अनफेयर टू अस क्योंकि हमें आपकी बहुत सारी फिल्में देखनी है. बट
I get up every morning in terror of making another film.
Seriously?
Seriously. जैसे मुझे दूसरी कहानी याद आती है फिर कहता हूँ, because it's emotion. It's not another job for me. For me, a job was being a chartered accountant, going to sit in an office and doing numbers. And no, but making a film is heartbreaking because how do you know? See, there's no right or wrong in making a film. It's either honest or dishonest. There are no rules. So how do you find your honesty without delving deep inside yourself, right? And how do you do that with every shot? How do you do that with every moment of the story? How do you do that with every dialogue? Are you going to be able to write a film and just cry on every scene? And to me, it's a heartbreaking process. And how many times can I have my heart broken? That's why.
But still we want more, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. My question is for Rakesh, sir. Sir, I have two things to say. Sir, मैंने आपकी किताब पढ़ी, Stranger in the Mirror. It really moved and inspired me. And also, sir, my question is आपकी फिल्म Delhi 6 का जो गाना है रहना तू, which is my personal favorite song. It is like very divine and spiritual. तो सर आप प्लीज़ थोड़ा सा डिटेल में उसके मेकिंग के बारे में एंड एज अ डायरेक्टर बता सकते हैं उस गाने के बारे में?
वो गाना फिल्म में था नहीं है.
जी सर.
और मैं रहमान साहब के साथ बैठा हुआ था चेन्नई में उनके स्टूडियो में. हमारा बैकग्राउंड म्यूज़िक चल रहा था और वो एक नया इंस्ट्रूमेंट लेके आए. उसका इंस्ट्रूमेंट कैन बी फोल्डेड. इट्स कॉल्ड अ कॉन्टिन्यूम. कॉन्टिन्यूम वो उसमें फ्रेट्स नहीं होते, कीज नहीं होती, सिर्फ एक कपड़ा सा है प्लास्टिक का टाइप. ऐसा सोचे, उस पर फिंगर्स से यू फील एंड यू प्ले. एंड ही सेड, बीच में ऐसी ब्रेक में वो दूसरे कमरे में ऐसी वो बजा रहे थे और द साउंड वाज ब्रॉट टीयर्स टू माय आईज. इट वाज वो रहना तू में जो है. सो whatever he was playing, I said just expand on it and I put my phone का recorder on. He expanded और वो गाना बन गया और हमने फिल्म में डाल दिया बाद में. वो प्लान नहीं था. It is all he would know because Rahman it's very close to Shekhar. And I'm also like he's like a soulmate. तो लुक्का छुपी रंग दे बसंती में वो था नहीं गाना. वो देखा बैकग्राउंड. याद ने कहा, you know, there is बॉर्न ऑफ 4th of July में there is a moment, वो कॉफिन्स आ रहे हैं इराक से वापस या अफगानिस्तान से और वियतनाम से, सॉरी, और there is a song called Where Are You My Blue-Eyed Boy, एक माँ पूछ रही है. तो मुझे आइडिया बड़ा अच्छा लगा कि एक बेटा शहीद हो गया माँ. तो रहमान के साथ यही होता है, आप करने कुछ जाते हो और करते कुछ और हो कुछ और जाता है, तो बड़ा मज़ा आता है. इट्स ऑलवेज चेंजिंग, इट्स लाइक ए फ्लोइंग रिवर, पानी ठहरता नहीं है वहाँ पे.
Hello sir, Ishan here. Sir, I'm a student from LV Prasad Film School, Chennai. My question is to Rakesh sir. Sir, I have gone back through your work from Ux to Tufan. Sir, you have built strong teams, and what is the perspective that you explain to your crew, and what are the non-negotiables you look into them when you hire the crew? One more question, if I may ask, to Shekhar sir. Through your conversations, the way you speak, and you have said beautiful things like you think about how you can be naive again. Sir, how do you stay so aware, so self-aware? How do you read your own mind that way? It just makes me think that the thought process is very young. How do you stay like that? Thank you, sir.
I am very young.
Truly are, sir. Thank you.
You know, to me, it's a question that I get asked often. I said, what? So the secret of eternal youth is to be constantly in a state of wonder. Nothing else. It's your mind, it's not your body. Shekhar, to exercise karta hai? Nahi. Kuch nahi karta. What do? I say, I wake up in constant, बैठ जाओ. Yeah. I wake up in constant state of wonder. ऐसी कुछ चीज़ है, why, how, why? It's a state. The state of wonder is not a specific question. It's just a state of being in a state of wonder at. Again, I keep coming back to this idea of the kid looking forever. I am still looking forever, so I am constantly in a state of wonder, like what exists there, how it exists. So that keeps you going. That's it. And I hope the day I stop wondering can only be the day where I find forever. And the only way any of us can find forever is when we die. So tab tak to zinda raho, jab tak state of wonder ho, right?
That's beautiful, sir. Thank you. Rakesh, sir.
It's quite simple actually. वो हम रीडिंग करते हैं, जब सारा कास्ट क्रू हो जाता है तो सब आते हैं, कुछ वर्कशॉप चलती है 15-20 दिन, 1 महीना, बातचीत होती है, एक दूसरे को समझने की कोशिश होती है. एंड आई start the gathering with कि let's give ourselves permission to fail. कि ये ना सोचो कि हिट बना रहे हो या बनाना है या सक्सेसफुल फिल्म बनानी है, हम फेल होने जा रहे हैं, हम कुछ ट्राई कर रहे हैं, और जब भी हम कुछ ट्राई करेंगे तो अक्सर आप फेल होते हो. थॉमस एडिसन फेल्ड 3,680 times. On the 3,681st time, the light bulb happened. But he had to fail that many times. तब तक light दिखती नहीं है.
Thank you, sir. That's truly inspirational, sir. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Shalini from Delhi. I'm a journalist and of 20 years, and I've had the good fortune of interviewing both of you, and just want to say it's a real treat to see two of my favorite filmmakers on stage in conversation. Rang De Basanti has been a major influence on my practice of journalism as well as Mr. India. So thank you both for both. Thank you.
I wonder how Mr. India can affect your journalism. Right.
Where the hero doesn't need to be seen to fight the good fight. So as a journalist, you're...
Okay, great, okay.
My name is Rafi, and...
I think the person giving the mic is prejudiced. But
I
anyway,
like to answer Shekhar on how does Mr. India lead to good journalism. Mr. India leads to good in every aspect of life. You see the movie, you watch it again, you watch it the 10th time, and every time you're feeling good. So once you start feeling good, you'll start doing good things.
all right.
Sir, for the first time, I watched the trailer of Mirzia and I felt goosebumps. I really like the non-linear storytelling and the musical format it has, uh, and the reincarnation thing. So I see the final product, but I want to know that what was the initial thing and what was the process of that thing? Yeah.
So it's nothing. It's based on Mirza Sahiba's story, which is I was definitely like a child playing with the form, what Shekhar was saying earlier. And it's a 2-hour, 10-minute film, out of which 1 hour and 20 minutes is silent. So it was just a silent picture with no dialogue spoken in the other life. And it was a new territory one was entering. I tried to do a musical without it being a typical Hollywood or Bollywood musical, or Hindi film or Indian film musical. And I failed. It didn't do well. It didn't go out to maximum audiences. But I learned a lot. So when I remake Mirzia, I'll try and correct my mistakes, yeah.
Rakesh, sir, you spoke about how you had never really worked with a camera until your first experience making a film, and you've also spoken really highly of your creative soulmates and collaborators. For those of us making films who see it as very essentially collaborative, but are maybe early in our careers and have yet to find those creative soulmates, do you have any perspective on how we can trust or leap more in early creative endeavors?
Yeah, sorry, what's your name?
My name is Sanya.
Tanya, very, very simple. Friends happen to you, right? You don't choose them. And there's a certain choice there. Relatives, brothers and sisters don't happen to you. They वो जबरदस्ती हो जाता. तो वैसे ही crew होता है, वो they happen to you. You will find your kind of people. And the moment you feel you're not happy working with a certain technician, or they are not happy with you, or you're not gelling with the actor or something, don't go there, don't do it. कोई ज़बरदस्ती नहीं है, फिल्म नहीं बनाई, फिर भी universe will go on.
Okay. And how does that fit into the maternal protectiveness you feel towards your film? Do you know what I mean? Of wanting to make it with this
What's
sort
the
of...
question, sorry?
Just...
How does it become a female idea, what you're saying? Because you said being a director is like being a mother.
I was just correlating that with feeling afraid to leap and collaborate when you don't know for sure.
I'm constantly getting signals like we are out of time.
Okay,
but
thank you so much
we'll
for
have to take
answering.
one more question.
Here, I just have a simple question to Rakesh. You have been working with your wife on a projects. So how does the collaboration happen on set and in home? And does your wife sometimes tell like you are not doing right, and you know, how did you guys both manage together? That's the only question.
It's
a dangerous question.
It's a delicate one.
But that's a better word than dangerous, right?
Ultimately, it boils down to respecting each other's craft.
She just left.
Yeah, I know.
No.
At least I didn't get slapped.
Okay,
yeah.
she's there.
So it's just respecting each other's, and when you disagree on things, you're disagreeing on some amazing things, like emotions. Not खाने में क्या बना है, या चाय ठंडी हो गई थी. तो वो बड़े मजे के, and after a while, you know, your friends, यार, वो शादी lasts for 3 months. Once the honeymoon is over, you better become friends. फिर husband wife का मामला नहीं जमता है, कुछ भी नहीं होता है वो.
Sure. Yeah, okay, one more question. पानी अभी बनाने वाला हूँ, 15 साल से अभी बनाने वाला हूँ. ऐसे ही बनती फिल्में. एक फिल्म की मर्जी भी होती है ना. It's not, I'm not the only decision maker, right? A film is itself, it becomes a decision maker. And a film will say one day to me, you have to stop everything else and make this. And I'll do that. So when you are asking that question, ask the film also, bhaiya kab banogi tum? Right? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no, wo,
see, that's the wrong question. Koi
Wrong
actor hai
question,
pani
no
mein ki
answer
nahi.
for
That's
that. 0 marks out of 10. नहीं, पानी बन रही है. जब एक लेखक और एक डायरेक्टर, or in this case, both of them as Shekhar itself, he's already making it by writing it and creating it. वो दूसरी बात है कि वो physically कब बनेगी. But he is already making it, remaking it so many times. And as he said, वो जब होता है तो होता है.
We've been told to cut it off, otherwise they're going to switch the lights off. Right?
A big thank you to our distinguished guests, Mr. Shekhar Kapur and Mr. Rakesh Omprakash Mehra, for sharing their invaluable perspectives, wisdom, and passion with us today. We are deeply inspired by your cinematic journeys. Thank you to our wonderful audience for your enthusiasm and for making this session such a success.